The strike is over. Everyone, I'm Matthew Cornwell with Get Taped here in Atlanta, Georgia, one of Atlanta's original audition taping services, which I co-own with my amazingly talented, beautiful wife and best friend, Brooke. Ding, there she is. Yeah, and now onto our topic. The strike is over. Yes, the strike is over. A new day has dawned. We got everything we wanted. My career is going to be perfect, right? Right? No? Okay, clearly it's not that simple. While we can celebrate the end of the strike and the prospect of going back to work, a lot of actors, since the announcement last week on November 8th, have reacted differently. Some actors took a beeline for social media to post their selfies from the projects they were on during the strike. Hashtag set life. Am I right? You know the photo, sitting in your director's chair, turning back to look at the camera so that you can see the name of the project on the back of the chair. Does it look good? Right. Can you see the whole chair? Because the whole point is that you can see the title of the project so that everyone on social media will know that I was actually on this set. Great. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Look, I get it. You want to celebrate your wins. Me too. We all do. But, you know, we saw your projects and we even texted you and DM'd you to celebrate each other. And I'm not telling you it's something you shouldn't do. It just was shocking to have it thrust into my face every time I went on social media in the minutes and hours after the rumors of the strike ending became confirmation of the strike ending. There was not even a moment to process before those posts started showing up. Others immediately jumped to questioning the deal, even though the language of the contract as of the recording of this video has still not been released, because the lawyers still have to comb over every last word before they're ready to make this a public contract for the membership to read, the press to read, for everyone to read. And prognosticating on what if the terms aren't, and what if it's this, and what if it's that, it's not that helpful in my mind, because all it's serving to do is create sides before we've seen the actual contract language. And a mere 5 days ago, we were a union strong with all this solidarity, and suddenly we're fractured like a mirror that is shattered onto the ground. And quite frankly, that's made me sad. And for crying out loud, hear me on this. I'm not saying that the contract that I have not seen yet, that no one has seen yet as of the recording of this video, I'm not saying it's perfect. I don't know. But I'm going to wait before I make any opinions. I'm going to actually read it. All of this, though, Matt, is just human behavior, okay? Okay, let me breathe. Even though a modicum of patience would do us all good, our own self-preservation, desperation, or ego, or whatever, causes us to scream into the void that is social media and just hope to hear something echo back as an answer. I think I'm just reeling from the fact that we as actors fractured at such a shocking speed. I naively thought that we would continue to stand together through the press conference on Friday after the national board voted, maybe even through the weekend, until we all had a chance to read the actual document and learn about the ins and outs of it before we started to form individual opinions. But that's my issue, I guess. I strangely hoped that this kumbaya feeling that we had for 118 days would continue. After all, part of what it means to be a union is to recognize the needs of the many, which sometimes means sacrificing your own personal desires. And listen, I wasn't in the room. I do know some people on the negotiating committee, but I am not speaking on their behalf. And it is such a nuanced, complicated topic to be covering in a free YouTube video. So I'm not going to try to pretend that I understand all the nuances of what you're feeling versus what I'm feeling, of how you're navigating this or how I'm navigating this. In fact, the point of this video is that we all are different in how we walked through the strike and how we are now walking through the post-strike atmosphere. So how are you? Honestly, when you woke up Thursday morning after having processed the news briefly on Wednesday night, how'd you feel? Elated? Sad? Confused? Maybe you're like this actor who hilariously tweeted, "Just emailed my agents to see why it's so slow post-strike." It's funny because, let's be honest, Some actors immediately jumped into that mode of thinking. So, regardless of my own feelings on how things have gone since Wednesday night when we got the news, no matter what your experience is, it's all good. The one thing you shouldn't try to do is avoid this moment. What I mean is that we all just experienced an emotional event. Even if you didn't experience financial woes during the strike, God bless you, then I'm reasonably certain that your inner artist was starved, or you tried to avoid thinking about that by locking your inner artist away in some corner of your brain. No matter how you coped with those 118 days, Wednesday morning bore almost no resemblance to Thursday morning of last week. And so now that the industry is back, regardless of where you stand on all of these issues we've talked about, you have questions. When will the auditions start coming? If I had momentum before the strike, will that continue, or will I be back to square one? Will my agent drop me? Are there going to be more opportunities or less opportunities because of budget cuts and canceled shows? I felt part of something during the strike. Am I going to go back to feeling alone and isolated? All of these questions and their associated feelings are normal. And I don't have the answers for you. No one does. I can only encourage you to find a support group or an outlet for sharing these feelings, a place that's safe and that will be supportive. And FYI, social media is not that place. What I can say is before you get lost in the rabbit hole of asking these questions and looking for the answers and obsessing over what those answers are online or other places, pause, breathe, check in with yourself. Ask yourself, where is this need coming from? This need for answers, this need for information. May I offer a guess? Is it possibly that during the strike, your professional life, your career was predictable? That is, nothing was happening. And despite the strain that was put on us all, the anxieties that you normally would concern yourself on a day-to-day experience as an actor were gone. You weren't worried about your audition numbers, your booking ratio. Who booked that role that I auditioned for? Does that casting director hate me? Do I need new headshots, etc.? To say it differently, you had no short-term or long-term to-do list as an actor. All there was to do was to put on your SAG-AFTRA strong hat, pin, or t-shirt, walk a picket line, go to a rally, or otherwise show your solidarity with the union. There was a predictability in the nothingness, which, in a weird way, was comforting, maybe. And the moment the strike ended, you became acutely aware that those anxieties were still there, just ready to walk back into your life. And maybe that caused you to panic and explode on social media. And if any of that resonates with you, then at the very least, I implore you to do some browsing in the self-help section of your local library or bookstore. And perhaps, if you're willing, there's an invitation to talk with a professional in regards to these issues, a life coach, counselor, etc. Because quite frankly, it's not healthy. It's not sustainable long-term to place that much importance on this industry. If your value as a human is dictated by your position in this industry, you are destined to crash and burn like good old Icarus. Because as I've said before on this channel, the industry makes a bad friend and a terrible lover. So in an effort to end this on a higher note, like a good Hollywood ending, I'll simply say that you're not alone. Your feelings are real. Your grief, if that's what you experience, is very real. And we all are feeling it with you. That said, there is so much possibility ahead now that the strike is over. So if you're currently focused on the negative, try shifting your mindset. While you can't control the world around you or the industry or your career specifically, you do have 100% control on how you react to it. But that takes intentionality, introspection, and a lot of practice. And if you have ideas to share or questions to ask about these topics, please drop a comment below. And before I sign off, let me quote Bill and Ted and Bob Ross. Be excellent to each other. Take care, and God bless, my friends. That's it for now. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on set for real this time.